Good morning and welcome back to our Pacific morning show. This is our first episode back for 2023, and bro, I am so excited. We have two new, why do I say they're like new two? Sorry, I'm gonna have to start again. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Good morning and welcome back to our Pacific Morning Show 2023. Man, I am mad excited. We have two awesome new hosts on for the new show, Torisse, Laulu, and Isoa Kavakimotu. How are you, Torisse? How are you, Isoa? Isoa, unfortunately, went for a walk with his dog to purposely look to catch COVID, and he manifested it, and now he is...
Now he
No, I
has COVID.
didn't.
now
Don't listen to the spread of misinformation here.
Buzzword. Buzz. Nah.
Ding.
Isoa, we understand you have COVID at home. We wish your recovery and hope you get really well soon. But thank you for tuning in to the show this morning with us via Zoom. You've really put me back into the 2020 spirit. But I can't wait till you're back at the office. But I don't want to say anything more. I'm going to leave this up to our new hosts to introduce themselves and what they're excited about for the show this year. So we'll start off with Torisse.
Talofa, thank you so much for having us and providing this amazing space for us to have really hard and challenging convos as well as lighthearted convos. I'm super excited for this year. Just a bit about myself. I am Samoan living in Mangere, South Auckland. I am from the villages of Awhenga, Lifanga, Salailua, and Falealili. I'm super passionate about Pasifika stories, art, just the arts in general, like music, everything to do with that, really. And yeah.
That's awesome. I'm really
that's
excited
me.
to have you on.
I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Over to you, Isoa.
Shut off, everyone. My name is Isoa Kavakimotu. I am Tongan. I'm from the villages of Fuamoto, in Tongatapu, and Utungake in Vava'u. Gosh, I can't wait to see what we have in store for you guys this year, and I'm looking forward to just just help co-facilitate with Hana and with Torisse, just all the amazing guests and all the amazing talanoa, buzzword thing that we're going to have this year. And hopefully it's to benefit all of you guys who are watching and listening in the airwaves. But yeah, just a little bit about me. Like Hana said, I have a dog. I'm a photographer, videographer, digital media person. Still in the middle of this really long weight loss, health journey, and just doing my little bit to help lead our Pacific people towards a better tomorrow. Is that a ding? Does that count as a ding, Hana?
Yep. Ding.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
we'll play like a superhero song after that sentence finished. That was great. No, honestly, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Isoa, for that.
So I got our quote for the day, and it's from a book that I'm currently reading called The Mountain Is You by Brianna West. Really simple, and it's it does not matter what your life looks like on the outside, it is how you feel about it on the inside. So I chose this quote because it reflects the journey that I'm currently on at the moment. I jumped off socials, I think maybe almost about a month and a bit ago, because I noticed that I was purposely doing this thing where I was taking photos and videos of experiences and events that I wanted to document for other people. I was posting these in these moments, they were really important moments to me, but I felt that I didn't really care about how I was feeling in the moment, but I was more focused on how can I capture this so that I can share it with the whole world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and then it just being off it, it only and taking a step back, I like came to this like realization. I was like, why? And taking a step away from it, and being able to be off socials, going to events and things that I can't document. Now I'm like more aware of how I feel about it. I'm like, okay, cool. Am I doing this because I like it, or
Yeah,
like
you're doing
that's
it for other reasons.
yeah? Am I doing this because I like it, or am I doing it to document it? But now that I don't have social media, I'm just doing things that I want to do because I like it.
Nice.
And so it's like there's this like massive shift that I've noticed since like being on and being off that I'm really enjoying right now. So that quote, it spoke to me because
Yeah.
I'm on that kind of journey of like just trying to figure things out for me.
No, that's a really cool quote. It does not matter what your life looks like on the outside, it's how you feel about it on the inside. I think that's an underrated piece that people don't understand. They're like, we're so obsessed with proving our worth, whether that be materialistically to outside people, whether that be friends or whatever. But there's actually more value in the peace that you feel inside when you don't feel like you have to prove that to other people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's underrated. Like a lot of people aren't aware that that is a lot better feeling than having all the cars and money in the world.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's my 2 cents, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's quite a powerful quote as well because, you know, it's what your life looks like on the outside. It's more about how you feel on the inside, and it's about, and tying back to what you had said, Torisse, about stepping away from socials for a little bit. On social media, we kind of build this facade, this ideal lifestyle that we have of, oh, look at me, I'm out here living life, oh, look at me, you're like, cheers, all that sort of stuff. And it's just like, it's meaningless, it's like, oh, what is it? There was something I had read, a little while back, that every time you get a like, it's like a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Every time you get a like, it's a dopamine hit because that's validation.
Yeah.
You're seeking validation by posting that, and every time you get a like, you feel validated. And what that quote is saying is like, who cares about the validation from the outside world, what they're seeing in here? It's about how you self-validate within yourself. And
Yeah.
no, that's a big mood for this year, and it's definitely made me want to reevaluate my own relationship with social media and how I want everyone to perceive me. So thanks for that, Torisse.
That's good. I like that one. That's the vibes for the year.
Yeah. Thanks for weighing in, guys.
I can't wait to shoot our first episode all together in the office. Obviously, when you've recovered from COVID, so we're looking forward to that. But let's get into it. As you all may know, it's 2023. The New Year's resolutions are in. The goal setting has started. The New Year, New Me has started. And, personally, I love the feeling of the new year.
Yeah.
Everyone's bringing fresh energy to try and restart some of the things that they may have not completed in the past. But, as a result of that, we have this hustle culture that we really wanted to talk about. And I'm still trying to build, my thoughts around hustle culture and what it means, what it stands for. Is it healthy? Is it toxic? But we will be talking about that right after this. See you soon.
Emmaline Pickering-Martin. She is a Pacific Media Advisor at the University of Auckland, Communications Advisor for Hapai Te Haora Māori Public Health, Policy and Advocacy Lead for I Tipu I Reo Whanau Services. An activist by birth and choice, a writer, a commentator, her work can be found across a range of media outlets, including TVNZ, News Hub, New Zealand Herald, I Tangata, and RNZ. She is the creator and co-director for Tabu Talk, an online platform for Pasifika people, by Pasifika people, exploring topics that are usually taboo in the Pacific community. She is a passionate worker for Māori and Pasifika communities, ensuring that everyone has access to equitable outcomes. Welcome to the one and only Emmaline Pickering-Martin.
Oh my gosh, welcome to the show. Oi, she's been practicing that intro this whole morning for an hour.
She just rolled off my tongue.
We were so excited, and I'm just like hearing her, practice and just seeing the wealth of experience that you hold in your back pocket, which is amazing. We're so honored to have like a strong wahine on the show who has been across, a lot of areas, but all of it leads back to Pasifika elevation, empowerment. Oh, damn it, I got 2 words. Isoa has to buzz now. But welcome to the show, Emmaline. Was so thankful. Thank you for being here. How are you today?
Oh yeah, so good. Been rushing around all morning, but really grateful to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and congratulations for showing. Amazing. But yeah, I'm excited. You guys are crazy talented. This is going to be great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Honestly, really appreciate it. We have Isoa here on the camera, who will be chiming into our conversation. He'll be chiming into our conversation as well. But today, it's 2023. Everyone's up with their New Year's goals and things like that, and we want to talk about hustle culture. But we feel the conversation will be more valuable coming from someone like you. Like, bro, like what?
Yeah.
I'm talking about hustle culture with that.
I'm the worst. No, it's so bad. Obviously, I have 3 roles that I currently sit in, and the equivalent, hour kind of workage is about a 75-hour work week. So, obviously, it's stupid, and no one should ever work that much, but I have 3 kids and 2 separate families that we support, so it's kind of a necessity in my life. And something that I enjoy doing as well, because the work isn't boring. It's all based around Māori and Pacific, so I don't mind it. Whereas I don't think I could pull this off if I was doing, something that wasn't a passion of mine or something that I didn't love. So I'm probably the worst for hustle culture. It's disgusting, really disgusting.
Yeah. What's your perspective on some of the attitudes you've seen, especially within the Pasifika communities, towards hustle culture?
Yeah, it's very much grounded in that individualism thing, which leads into community, I guess, especially for Pacific people. If we make it, our communities can benefit from that, but making it in terms of being an individual and working yourself to death is probably not the greatest way to support your community. But lots of it is based around, money in this day and age and what we need to survive.
Totally. Especially with rising living costs. How are we supposed to survive in Auckland with one job?
Insanity. I think this month they just reported that food prices have gone up 10% compared to last month, which was 11%. So that's 21% over 2 months.
That's crazy.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I haven't looked much in the data, but if a block of butter costs $10, bro,
I'm
off. It's insane.
Yeah. So some of it's necessity, I guess. We have to work to live in this society that we live in. But a lot of it, is just that trying to be really great so that everyone around us can benefit.
Absolutely. And I feel like I'm only going to speak on Samoans for this one. Work is really ingrained in our culture. We have a quote, Oleara Pule Tautua, so,
Ding!
Damn it! Okay, there goes another buzzword. I need to slow down on this before I'm owing you guys beers at the end of the year. But so our culture is rooted in hard work. It's so hard to try and talk to someone that can empathize with rest, because we're always if you're not working, you don't love. It's completely tied to love for the community and love for your family. But I think rest is really, really important. It's something that we need, but it's just changing that mindset, which I've found hard to do. And I'm not trying to purposely do it, but it's just having the basic conversation of resting is okay. How do you think we could go about doing that? I know that can't happen overnight, but I
think it's a real, I don't know if we can take hard work away from being a Pacific person purely because of the way Christianity sits in our culture and how much of that was brought how much of the hard work kind of label was brought into our cultures through Christianity. And because we're so intertwined with that belief in God and the Bible and what the Bible says and how we live our lives, it's really hard to pull that apart and be like, oh, well, actually, God had a rest day.
Yeah,
Maybe we should have like 4 rest days. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, like a rest day is what my family in Fiji are like. Yeah, Sundays are for rest. You don't go shopping, you don't clean your house, you don't do any of that stuff, you just rest. But all the other days, you're working your ass off. So it's really hard to reinstill that maybe rest would be beneficial for us, especially living outside of home. If we're not on the island and we're here, and we live a very different life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you have so many roles in different places. How do you deal with burnout? Yeah.
I just cry, no. Lie in bed and cry. No, so I actually, when I finished my master's, I handed in, and then 2 days later I went to do an interview at Vunilangi Vol with they had something called Fat Feb, and I was interviewing the people that were running Fat February for Ensemble magazine. So I'd gone out there to interview them straight after I'd handed in my master's thesis, which was like 3 months of intense writing for me. And then 2 days later I was out interviewing for a freelance role. And then I got home and I went to write the piece, and I had like a full-on breakdown, like bawling my eyes out, shaking, couldn't stop. Had to call my sister to come and pick me up and take me to the doctors because I didn't know what the hell was going on. But then I realized like it was complete burnout because I'd worked the whole year teaching at the university. I was writing my thesis, I was researching, and then I just thought, you know, I'll hand it in, move on to the next thing. And I just like completely crashed, and it was really tough. Like I don't think I left my house for the first month after that. I was like depressed. I had really my brain was just gone. Couldn't focus, couldn't write, and writing is my bread and butter. So I was like emailing my bosses like, I'm so sorry, I just can't do anything. And they were all fine with it. Like I have female bosses, so not saying that men are, but they are. But
Wow.
Men are trash. But so I have like two Wahine Māori bosses who are CEOs, and then a lovely Pākehā female boss who's amazing. But yeah, so they were all like, no, it's fine, I'd take a break, what the hell's wrong with you? And they were all saying that, but I was in the mindset of like, I've got to perform for them, like I've got to make sure that I get everything done so that I'm not letting them down. And so, but it was horrific. Like I do not recommend burnout to anyone, and I had my kids, and it was just like ridiculous. So I took a whole year off doing any writing and any work. We just focused on Tambu Talk and doing things that I really liked. But that was only because my workplaces were really flexible and let me just do what I could and really supported me. And I think that was the biggest help, as well as my family, obviously. But yeah, trying to explain to people in my family that I'm like burnt out and I can't work which is a privilege in itself, right? Being burnt out and not working, right. Which is stupid when you think about it. But like trying to explain to people like I can't get out of bed, like I just can't, and it doesn't matter what anyone says, or you know, like go do it for your kids, or it's just the most beautiful intent, but it's, you know, when you're burnt out,
it's like you're paralyzed, right?
So I ended up on medication, which was great for my depression, and then it took like a whole year to recover from doing a whole bunch, because I was doing so much that was stupid. Like now, still stupid, doing too much, but at least now it's not. Yeah, I can manage myself, and I know how to stop, and I know how to take time out for my family and those sorts of things. Yeah. But it takes a lot of managing self, which we're not really taught very well.
Yeah.
Especially coming from like big families where we always have to be the everything for everyone. You're not really taught how to manage yourself and your needs, and to notice that you're dying.
And even like when you go into burnout, like when you go into overworking yourself, like I feel like for most of us, I'm going to speak for myself and my family, like we're doing it for our family and we're not doing it for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all like rooted in that like collective thinking.
Yeah. And then you feel guilty. Like, oh my God, I need to go, I need to do this, I need to do that. I'm letting people down. My kids are seeing me like in bed, they're like, yeah, I'm like buying them Dominoes every night because I can't like I couldn't get up and cook. So I was like, my kids lived on Uber Eats for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Just me being like,
Yeah.
they were happy as. But like then then you feel guilty as a mum and you're like, oh my god, I gotta feed them vegetables somehow. But but no, yeah, it's really it happens, and people, some people look at you like, man, other people don't have the privilege of staying in bed for a month and then going on medication and then having a support system around you. So like, how do you manage? I guess you're not really meant to care about what other people think when you're in that situation, but it still affects you.
Yeah. And I know we're like talking about how hustle culture sucks and stuff like that, but like it's really a testimony to where your heart is for your community and the work that you do, because like how you were saying before, there's a whole like hustle for money, but the work that you do it's totally worth it. But I'm not saying that you deserve to be burnt out. No. I'm not saying you deserve to be burnt out, but like we need people in those spaces to make these happen. And I'm sorry that I'm putting this pressure on you.
No, but in the spaces that we work in, like there's no money there. Like you don't get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing community work or writing cool stories about our people or running Tumblr Talk. Tumblr Talk makes $0. Like we're giving people the money that I earn from the university to like invite them on, to like have a space for us. So it's it's not as if we're like rich. It's not like a rich monetary hustle culture. It's more like you just want everyone to be really great around you, and you working hard means that other people can be lifted as well.
Absolutely.
So it's such a weird space.
What is it? I absolutely get where you're coming from, Emmaline, because like as someone who suffered from burnout on many of an occasion, I know exactly what it's like. It reminds me of when it was summer 2018, 2019. What is it? I was working for 2 organizations. I am not gonna name them.
Shame.
No, because I still kind of like them, kind of. And I was working for these 2 organizations. And I was working for 2 organizations, doing what I do as a digital media person. An incredible opportunity for me to apply my trade, and like for one organization I was doing a 2-man job, and for the other organization I was doing a 3-man job. So I was essentially doing the work of 5 people, asked to plan, shoot and edit all these different pieces of content. And at first I was like managing everything, balancing everything. But then, schedules changed and people's timelines like got shuffled around, and that old adage of like not being able to say no. Like Palangis are real big on that, like on that boundary, like being able to say no.
What's that boundary? Where do they live?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like I just realized that 24 hours in a day just wasn't enough for the work that I was doing. And I was like you for like a solid from like end of December to right up until the end of Jan. I was working 80 hours essentially a week. And then from like early Feb to mid Feb, I was working. It was up to like 90, and then like mid Feb, I just crashed and burned. And I spent the rest of like 2019 just defeated. Like nothing gave me joy anymore. Like picking up my camera was suck. I didn't want to do it. Didn't have a job really because I got let go by both organizations. And I take full responsibility for what I had done. Burnout really sucks, and what kind of lifted me out of that burnout was my dog. Another dog story for this.
Yeah.
I love
beer. We always got time for beer.
But yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, what is it? Because yeah, I was, the thing that gives you the most joy, and then it just kind of like seeps the life out of you, and yeah, like having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, like what is it? Not really eating, and then stress eating, and then like yeah, put on weight, and yeah, burnout is just terrible. But it's so ingrained in us. But we gotta like be able to like turn around and flip that switch. But it's so hard because you're unlearning like decades of behaviors. But yeah, no, I fully empathize with you, Emmaline, and I'm so happy. I'm so gutted I'm not there with you.
It's hard, and yeah, it really just managing other people's perceptions of you and expectations as well is really difficult to do when you're in a space like that. And we don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
Especially because there's so few of us that have access to higher platforms or access to media or things that is really important to have our voices in.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh shit, if we don't do it. And then we recommend people, and then they don't take those people on, and it's like, what do we do? So yeah, it's really tough. But I think you just have to do the self work, which is a privilege as well. Like, far out.
So,
Yeah.
It's speaking of privilege, like like we talked about rest and how rest is like super important. And that there's like in hustle culture, there's this thing that rest is something that should be earned, but it's something that we all deserve. Like everyone needs rest. And saying that, on the flip side, rest can be like a privilege. And I was wondering, like, how do people who don't have the luxury to be able to rest, how do they move through that? Some people are just trying to survive. They're forced into those places of like overworking.
Yeah, I think the best thing we can do for people who don't have the amount of privilege that we have or the resources that we have is to redistribute as much as we can what we do have. And it sounds really not just give your money away, like redistribute money, but more like we know we have family who work like ridiculous hours and who have multiple jobs and stuff, but when we don't have that responsibility, it's nice to help who we can, like cooking food or turning up for them and looking after their kids, or making sure we're around when they have big events or funerals, like birthdays, funerals, those sorts of things, redistributing the resources that we have personally back into our community so that we give them the opportunity to also have that time, or also have one less thing on their plate to kind of deal with. And I think that's like a really tangible thing that we can do as people without a big systemic change that is obviously needed. But just being present for your community and actually really giving in different ways, even though we give a lot, but like giving in ways that might not seem as obvious as because if I work like a 60-hour week or something, having someone come and take my son out to the park like makes all the difference, and it doesn't seem like much, but it's like 20 minutes, which makes me feel like a better mum and makes him like go and spend some energy somewhere else kind of thing. But yeah, even that sort of stuff is really helpful, but without big systemic change, it's really hard for our people to.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that's one of the main things we want to talk about. We're going to talk about systemic solutions for burnout and everything we literally just talked about. We'll be right back. So we've talked a bit about the personal solutions we could do, or we could apply in our everyday lives to deal with hustle culture, putting it in the right perspective and learning how to rest and those kind of things. But we know there's larger powers at play when it comes to, being a healthy person. When it comes to being a healthy person. So I really want to talk to you about some of the systemic solutions that need to happen so that our people are in better social well-being generally. What are some systemic solutions you feel need to happen and are possible that can happen that we could get behind?
So not just giving everyone money. I think the first thing that's being trialled all around Aotearoa in different places is the 4-day work week. So we know that the 40-hour work week was created for people who work on like assembly lines, mostly men, and it was so that it was measured on like productivity. So in that 40 hours, if you could like make a whole car, that was like really good, right? So like talking like Henry Ford and his assembly lines for cars. So that's why we have a 40-hour work week, so that people could, which was brought down from like much longer hours, which seems incredible, but so we have the 9 to 5, and in that time people expected productive outcomes. But because we live in like a way different world than when old mate Henry Ford was making cars, I think that a 4-day work week is viable. We've seen productivity measures risen in the companies that have done 4-day work weeks. We also know that 4-day work weeks mean a reduction in hours, so from a 40-hour week to say a 30-hour week, but with the same salary, and that also boosts productivity if we're looking at it through a capitalist lens and how companies want to keep making money and shit like that. 4-day work weeks work. So I think that's something that is easily implemented if people, look at the research and figure out how they can manage that in their businesses and in their lives.
Sorry, just a question. So you're saying that the 30-hour week, like the 4-day week, people are more productive during the 4-day week versus the 5-day?
Yeah, the 5-day.
9 to 5.
Yeah, 40 hours. I think it's 32 actually, sorry. So a 4-day work week would be 32 hours.
Yeah.
And if you keep people on a regular salary for a 40-hour week,
Yeah.
they're just as productive, if not more, in a 32-hour work week.
That's so
It
crazy.
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes heaps of sense.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I didn't even need to look
Yeah.
at the research.
And there's companies that do it now and do it really well, and just have really great outcomes and happy staff and low staff turnover. Like you don't want to keep hiring people every other month because people are burnt out or they found something better, or you're not paying enough, or don't have good conditions in your workplace. So that's something that's easy and doable, and other people are doing it.
Yeah.
So why don't we all just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm keen for a 4-day work week, to be honest.
Yeah.
4 days, guys.
Yeah. Other things, I guess, is hybrid working. We've just come through COVID. Buzzword ding. Where's your ding? Even I know that's a buzzword. So we've just come through that. We know that hybrid working works. Like, everyone had to work from home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
So why are we being dragged back to buildings that we don't have any connection with? We don't like. It takes an hour and a half to drive to in the morning.
For
Have to get up
real.
early. Have to wear clothes. Like,
Yeah.
this is a waste of time. So at the university we have Monday, Fridays work from home, and we're only in the office on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is just specific to our team in communications, which works like beautifully.
Yeah.
And is a wonderful way for people with families to be able to drop their kids off and pick them up during the week.
Yeah.
We have flexible working arrangements anyway. Like if you can't come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's fine. Just tap in with your manager kind of thing. It's not. Yeah. So we know that all these things can work. So why not just let every workplace be as flexible as the worker needs, not as the boss.
Why do you think businesses aren't embracing it?
I think it's just that whole socialized mindset of like, you can only be productive if I'm watching you.
Right.
If you're here in the room with me and I can see you and you're working.
Yeah.
And if you believe that someone's watching you, then you'll do your work because you're scared. Or, just that real old school kind of mentality about work. Yeah. But actually we know that, man, when we're in an office, like, you know, people don't work to their best potential. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the nicest place to be all the time.
True.
Yeah.
I will say I can work better. I can write a lot better from my bed, just by myself in the room, than I can in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works both ways. Like, some people obviously need to get away from the distraction that is home. Like, if I'm at home, I'll do my washing and clean the house first before I sit down and do anything,
Yeah.
because I can't work in like a messy headspace / house space.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that's normal for lots of
True.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to get distracted for some people, but for others, why not just let them, like,
Yeah.
what is there to lose except for control?
Yeah. And that's it. They just want control.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other solutions?
Yeah, so we have the 4-day work week.
Yes.
We have working from home,
Yeah.
or like 2 days at work, 3 days at home. What
Yeah.
are some other solutions we could get behind?
To prevent burnout, mental health, lots of people have mental health leave now. So when you feel yourself, paid mental health leave, not just like leave without pay, but when you know that you're overwhelmed and overworked, having the ability to take like 3 days off work just because your mental health is really suffering. Or when you have big things at home going on, you know, fighting with your spouse, like things that people take for granted, like that stuff matters. You have a massive argument with your spouse and then you're meant to go to work and be productive for 8 hours
Yeah.
and then come home and still be mad at your partner. Like, how does that affect your family? How does it affect your well-being? How does it affect everyone around you in different spaces? And that whole pretending everything's okay when you go like
Yeah.
massive fight in the car, get dropped off, and then kill everyone. Like, what? Yeah, it's so unhealthy. And
Yeah.
having like the space to say, actually, I'm really mentally not here today. Like, that's okay. It should be okay for everyone. And if we're, as a nation, worried about our mental health and well-being, which we are, which, you know, they've invested so many millions of dollars into it, that should be a part of every workplace's policies and management. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is some.
What if we had some extra public holidays?
Public holidays. What if?
I'm down.
You down for public holidays?
I mean, we had, like, what is it? Last year we had Matariki, and it felt like Matariki, like we've always been doing it. When the late Queen of the Commonwealth and the British Isles and United Kingdom of Nations passed away. Like, what is it? I remember driving around that day and just thinking, wait, so it's always been a public holiday? But also thinking, oh man, I'm kind of gutted that the Queen died because it's a person. All my other feelings towards colonization aside, you know. But like, I remember driving around thinking, wait, so we always had this public holiday too? Like, it's so easy for the country to just switch off on public holidays, and I just thought, we need them, you know? I feel like we need these, like, more of these days off for, like, people to just regroup, and, like, we go from this massive as, especially here in New Zealand, we go from this massive as, like, from, well, now it's Matariki, right up until Labor Day, October. That's, like, how many months? July, August, September, like, late October. That's 3 months, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if we had a...
Can you give us some more time off, please?
Please. No, imagine if we had a government that was really supportive of people's well-being and instead of focusing on maybe business outcomes or monetary outcomes, financial outcomes for the country, if we linked that into well-being, how can we look after people so that maybe they are more profitable at the end, because that's how everyone looks at things. A person is equal to the profit that they can give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an unhealthy way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking, like, I love that you think that way, that, you know, the government should put well-being before, but it's a long way until we make that happen. But it's something I'm, like, super happy to, like, get behind and stuff like that. I just know it takes a lot of mahi to get to that place, especially convincing, you know, white people
Old white people.
Wait, I don't think Isoa beep this.
Ding, white people. Ding, old white people.
Yeah.
Oh, ding! Colonization, ding!
No,
You know, to come away from the economics that they're used to in running societies. So it's, yeah.
And that's the other thing. I think the younger generation, like maybe people who are 17, 18, 19 now, they have a very different view on working and burnout and life and productivity and economics than we do. Like I work so many hours, but my 12-year-old, she's like, what? Like I never want to work. Like no, but they have this like real like I deserve to live like a good life without work. That's killing me. They have a very different perspective on the community need and the community want than we do. And I think we're real lucky. Like by the time I'm old and ready to die, they'll be in charge. Like, and it'll be so much nicer for them and like my great grandbabies kind of thing. Yeah. Because they just don't see life the way that we see it.
Yeah, it's so refreshing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
My little cousin, she's like 15, and she's like, I'm not gonna work a 9 to 5.
Yeah, they're just and they're determined.
Yeah,
and the generation above us, maybe 2 generations above us, would have been like, no, yes, you are.
Yeah,
but we're all like, nah, yeah, sweet, don't work a 9 to 5, it sucks.
Yeah, and then she's like, I want to be a dancer, and I'm like, great.
Yeah.
But if that was me growing up, my aunts, and I was like, I want to be a dancer, they'll be like, stay in school.
Oh my God, actual. Like if I told my family that I do what I do now, which I can never really name anyway, just float around in spaces and write things and do cool stuff, they'd be like, what did you want to hiding? Like, what? Yeah. This isn't real. Like, it's not real life. Go be a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, just like what is reality for us now will be completely different in like 30 years time for our kids.
Yeah.
They're going to be amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And their dreams are so much bigger than ours. Like way bigger.
No, I really loved the 3 solutions that you shared for systemic. But I wanted to know, we shared a bit about it before in the second part of the show, but what are your best solutions for people who work really hard, who have to work really hard? What are your solutions for them that they could take right now? Yeah.
Man, the first thing is like really making a boundary for like when work cuts off. So like if you say you're going to finish work at 6 p.m., which is stupid, but like 4 p.m. if you want to finish work at 4, you're going to finish work at 4. Like turn off your notifications on your phone. Don't answer your emails. Don't answer phone calls. Like take the time away from your devices, that sort of thing. That's probably my best advice, because it wasn't until just this Christmas, New Year's period where I deleted my mail apps off my phone, turned off all my notifications, and had like a 2-week actual break from work. Just like where I didn't touch anything. I didn't answer DMs. I didn't, like nothing work related. And I think that's really important. And I know lots of people give this advice, but I only just took it myself this holidays. But you have to, like if you say you're finishing work at 4:30, finish your work at 4:30. Stop overworking yourself for someone else.
Yeah.
And then other people around you suffer if you do that consistently all the time, even though you're doing it for them. It tends to have a flow-on effect. But so that's like my biggest piece of advice. Finish work at 4, finish work at 4. Don't finish work at 11 p.m. writing an email.
Right.
Like, no.
What if you didn't get through your to-do list by 4? Do you still just finish? Do you still wrap up?
Yeah, still wrap up.
Okay.
To-do list will always be there. Like,
That's so true.
You really need time for you to prevent burnout.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just consistently thinking, consistently doing, and your brain is just overworked. And then by the time you do get a break, it takes like a week to really calm down, and then your break's over, and then you're like back into work again.
Yeah.
So you never really get that like calm sensation over yourself of just having a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just really put in strong boundaries and stick to them no matter what.
I'm showing my mum this. This part of the talk I'm showing her. Because she, like, not loves, but she just overworks all the time. And we'll always, like, to her, we're like, Mum, you could die tomorrow and your work will replace you the next week. Like, you're overworking yourself for a company that doesn't seem, like, they do not care about you.
Yeah.
But, like, your family, we're like, we're right here, we want time with you. Like,
We love you.
we love you.
Yeah.
Like, we want to spend time with her. But she's just so, like, trapped in that overworking, like, mindset of, like, no, I need to get this done, I need to get this done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's...
And it does have an effect later on, and you never really, I guess you don't notice it until the people in your life say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's hard in itself, like having those confronting conversations about where your time is spent and why it's so important. And like I was a primary school teacher for years, and so they're like the most overworked, honestly, primary school teachers and nurses, most overworked people in the whole country.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you get into a habit where you're just like consistently thinking of the kids and what they need and all their needs and things that they're missing out on and what you could provide. And it just continues, and it's so unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's the most unhealthy profession. Love it to death, but
Yeah.
Like, why do we do that? Like, is there some sort of, like, I was wondering if, like, at times, like, do we feel like our value is tied to being productive?
Hana.
Do you know, like, how do we separate that?
Yeah, and like how do we, when we look at people that don't have jobs as a society, what do we say about them in our heads?
Yes.
Even if you're the nicest person on earth, even if you think you don't have those beliefs, what is like the first thing that comes to your head if you see someone standing on the side of the road, dressed casually, smoking in the middle of the day, when you're off to a meeting? Like, what is the first thing that comes to your head, right? And how do we as a society change that narrative? Because it's just, self-worth is always tied to productivity. And like, how is our self-worth or how are we worth more than a person that doesn't have a job, or our street whānau who live in Tāmaki, or, you know, other people around us. Our kids, like, kids don't work and they're valuable and we love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's a huge topic.
That just, you just, like, blew my mind there. I was like, whoa.
Especially on social media, people are so adamant, you know, to show their worth through their work. It's like, I have to show, like, these people that I mean this much by what I develop. And it's just sad.
Yeah.
Like, I had to take a huge break last year to try and differentiate what work is with social media and what personal is with social media. Now I just don't want anything with personal stuff for social media. But I totally agree with that. We need to kind of, like, have a conversation around that on not tying your worth to your productivity.
Hard out.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like it's not as simple as that, because it's been ingrained into us since we were in schools. Like,
Yeah, that's what schools are. They're little farms for capitalism. It's a capitalist farm. Here, child, learn this so you can go and be an accountant and make lots of money for this.
For that person.
Yeah.
you get a star if you do this much work.
Yeah.
You're a great student. Like,
And then we don't even teach them like really important things, like how to not be a racist asshole.
Yeah, or how to be kind to someone, or how to support someone. You know,
It's just like
things
How
that
do you
matter.
manage your emotions?
you just have to be the best. Be the best at maths, be the best at English, be the best at science.
Yeah.
Be the best, be the best, be the best. But like,
What about being kind?
Yeah.
We need more people that are kind.
what about helping someone who isn't the best at maths?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah, true.
wouldn't that be more productive in the long term?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're just farming out our kids to capitalism. I'm so like anti, I'm like burn it down, but also I work 100 hours a week. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. I don't think it's stupid. I think you need to do stuff in certain systems to get somewhere. Like, you can't just sit and talk about something and then expect change. You actually have to be involved. So the mahi you're doing is incredible.
Yeah.
And man, hats off to you. Keep going. Yeah.
And just to add on to Hana, like, thank you for opening doors for, like, new generations to come through.
Yeah.
Like, the work that you're doing is so important. And
Yeah.
we're grateful. Like,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isoa, did you want to, I'm just going to wrap it up, but did you want to add anything?
No,
Yeah.
you guys pretty much said it all. You guys are amazing.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you for that. But thank you so much, Emmaline, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Hopefully not our last time doing a show together
Yes.
because there was so much we could have deconstructed in that one conversation,
Yeah.
but we're going to keep it brief for this show. Yeah, but we'd love to have you on the show again further down the line. We love the mahi that you do. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge on on how we can better function in this matrix that we're living in at the moment.
Take the pill, guys.
Yeah, we're living in the matrix, bro. But any last words?
Yeah, I guess in terms of last words, it would be, I know it's not in our nature to prioritize ourselves, but it's really important for your families and the people around you that love you, that you prioritize yourself in whatever way, shape or form that comes in, whether that's taking time for yourself to eat something you like, or going for a walk, or hugging your babies at night for 5 minutes over their bedtime. All the really little things are really, really important and turn into big things in the long run. And I think we're really good at ignoring that. But yeah, it's really important that you put some priority back in your life for yourself. Otherwise, we're all going to be burnt out and we're all going to die. It's just going to be sad.
I love how it started so beautifully.
We're all just going to be, but we're going to die anyways.
Oh, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Bye.